Alright, what's up critics and parasitic paralytics? Welcome back to the Sammy Whammy YouTube channel. April Fool's Day was just a couple days ago, and I just gotta say, I got fooled way too much. Dude, every year I've always like, man, I'm not gonna fall for anything this year, and then, yeah, I got fooled. I was the April Fool. It did not go very well. But anyway, today, this video, I want to be talking about a bit of a revelation I had recently, and I thought it would be fun to share it with you guys and, I don't know, make a video about it. It came from one day when I was just browsing through my YouTube recommended and just thinking about some stuff, you know? What kind of videos am I being recommended? What does YouTube think I'd like? What should I watch? Because YouTube's been really boring lately, to be completely honest with me. And what I realized is that there are a lot of people who talk about shows, movies, and a bunch of other media and pop culture, and just all it is about, this was worse than you could remember. It sounds lame, but seriously, I feel like everyone just talks about how bad stuff is nowadays. It reminds me of that quote from Ratatouille when Ego does the review of Gusteau's when he discovers that rats have been working in the kitchen, and he says, "We thrive off of negative criticism, which is fun to write and to read." Apparently to watch as well. Because, damn. All people just love is just bad stuff going on. They love drama, they love it when people make fun of stuff. I feel like people are just obsessed with viewing things in kind of an angry level. When somebody or something is the target, it just makes people want to watch it a lot more. I feel like a lot of people just find it interesting, you know? They just love seeing something getting bashed. And a lot of stuff is very easy to hate, especially when a lot of these channels are just nitpicking stuff to fucking death. I used to watch a lot of CinemaSins, you know? The guy who just nitpicks stuff, and I think that's kind of funny. But I feel like there are a lot of people who do these dumb videos where they brand them as analyses, you know? I'm doing an analysis of Cars 2, or whatever, and then fucking, what they call an analysis is just fucking them nitpicking the entire movie. That's not an analysis, it's just some dude just narrating the entire story of the movie and just doing nothing about it except for saying, shouldn't this be a thing, or the Cars universe doesn't make any sense, or something like that. They don't even talk about the pacing of the movie, or I don't know, or any of the important stuff about the movie. They just whine about the universe and the main story, nothing else, which I think is kind of not what you don't call that an analysis. I'm gonna sound like an absolute nerdy loser here, but I just googled what the Merriam-Webster definition of analysis was, and they say it is a detailed examination of anything complex in order to understand its nature or to determine its essential features. What these people on the internet call an analysis is them going into it, whining about a couple things, and not really analyzing all the individual parts of it and what makes it a thing. So many people call analyses or even just videos talking about movies and how bad they are, all they do is, oh, this story doesn't make sense, or the fucking, I don't know, the the narration doesn't make sense, or the universe doesn't make sense. Like, there's a lot more to movies than the fucking universe, you know? You could whine about the lighting, you could whine about the fucking cinematography, you can call the fucking, I don't know, maybe if something has a sequel, you can kind of pick out any discontinuations or a bunch of weird innuendos and shit going on with it that kind of fucking ruin the experience. But no, the story doesn't make sense. Oh, the lore doesn't make sense. What? It sounds really dumb coming from me, but it's something I've seen way too often, and it's why I don't really watch any of those movies and stuff anymore, because it's just, oh yeah, people watch these videos so they can get the lore and the story about the movie and what happens in it. They don't really go into anything else unless you're actually looking into one of those try-hard channels which talks about absolutely fucking everything. The cinematography is very unique. This one shot is crazy. He puts the camera at a 52-degree angle, pointing up at his face with a bit of a light coming from about 3 feet away and about 11 degrees to the left of his face, which allows for a very dramatic angle, and the way that he stares at the camera allows him to break a bit of the fourth wall, making the viewer kind of feel threatened in a way, and make it speak to the viewer and make them reflect upon their own personal decisions. No, they just say, oh, this character does this, and I think that's kind of dumb. It's not bro. And then one other thing, and I guess that's going to be the title of this video, dude. Critiques and fucking nitpicks, dude, they ruin the enjoyment of a movie. You can't enjoy a movie anymore because I don't know how to explain this. You watch these critique analysis videos, you've watched the movie after that, and you can't help but watch any movies without pointing out any of the bad shit going on. It's not like you can't just sit back and enjoy the fucking movie anymore. Luckily, there are a few movies you can do that for. I remember, this is gonna sound gay as shit, but I watched that video Critical did about Moonfall, and I was like, damn, this sounds like a funny ass movie. So then I watched Moonfall, and then it was fun. But I just wish we could watch movies without just overanalyzing everything, and or at least just making fun of all the dumb shit going on in the movie. Movies are meant to be enjoyed, not to be analyzed and looked into, and especially with the rise of a lot of reviewers and shit lately, it kind of kills the experience because everyone's just looking up, is this good? Is this good? And they're looking at all the shit going on. This is kind of opposite of my earlier point, and this is when people look at every fucking thing and they just nitpick it all whenever there's a slight discontinuation or a slight thing that could be annoying to some people. They just look at it and just say, oh yeah, this sucks, that sucks, this sucks, that sucks. Oh, this slightly sucks. Come on, man. And it's especially prevalent in music reviewers. This guy plays the instrument a fucking 30-second note out of tune with the rest of the notes that it plays. Fuck that. There are some people who do that shit. It's just people always whine about all these tiny things. They just can't fucking enjoy the music. This little thing, I can't get it out of my fucking brain. And this isn't the same as the mixing argument. I know the mixing argument's been fucking crazy because of that new Peggy and Danny album, Scaring the Hoes, and everyone's always whining about the mixing, which I think is fair, but I think it's way too hard when everyone always just whines about the same thing over and over again. And it's just, dude, just ignore the mixing. Maybe you can listen to all the other shit going on and don't let that thing overshadow the rest of your review. And I'd say mixing is probably the most realistic criticism. Like, of course, you might not want to listen to something if you can't hear anything. But I think the argument becomes very redundant when you just start whining about very individual things, and it's just kind of dumb. It's not worth it. I always thought that was fucking goofy. Or it's when, I don't know, a movie or something has one kind of dumb, stupid scene, and then they make that kind of dictate the whole movie. And then they're always like, oh yeah, it's a great movie, except for that one scene, except for that one scene, except for that one scene. And then it's just, why? What's the deal with that? And then it's just kind of dumb. A lot of critique has been ruining enjoyment of a lot of stuff, and that's just because, especially now in the internet age, where so many of us are just obsessed with watching these sort of videos of people just making fun of stuff over and over again. It's very hard to just watch something and have a good experience with it rather than pointing out any small things. It's like how I saw some reviewer reviewing one of those Indiana Jones movies. If you don't know, one of the Indiana Jones movies, I forgot which one, maybe it's the first one, where Indiana Jones is walking through a fucking market, a bit of a bazaar, and in the background you can see one of the people working on the movie walking past, and it's so if you don't know, the Indiana Jones movies take place in the 30s, the 1930s. Of course, everyone's wearing very primitive clothing. The guy who was working on the movie, walking in the background, had jeans on and a t-shirt, which of course, I mean, both of them were around back then, but the style it was obviously fucking 70s and 80s when these movies were made. And I remember one reviewer just wouldn't fucking stop focusing on that. There's an extra here. You should be focusing on getting all this shit right. You could have maybe refilmed the scene, maybe got the guy to get out of the scene. Like, dude, shut up. It is a movie. You shouldn't be looking at things this tight, fucking small. Or it's when one dude was reviewing Pirates of the Caribbean or Caribbean movies, and if you don't know, there's the logo. I forgot which logo it was, but Jack Sparrow, his fucking something he wore on his head had a tag on it for the clothing company that made it, and you can see it in a couple scenes, and people just focus on that over and over again like it's something you should make fun of and kind of ruin it, which I guess it's kind of interesting for you to say it, but people point it out like it's the fucking end of the world. It sounds dumb, and I know it might sound kind of exaggerated, but I'm just saying, people need to look at things with a lot more open mind, and they shouldn't feel like nitpicking absolutely everything is the way to go, you know? What they should be focusing on is a lot of the major stuff, and they should also be focusing on stuff that isn't just the story, the universe, the lore, the type of shit going on with it, you know? It's just kind of ridiculous to care about that sort of shit when, you know, movies is the art of taking that story and putting it into film, you know? And with that comes all the cinematography, the lighting, all that sort of shit. Not just the story, the character, like, dude. And that's all everyone cares about when watching a movie, which I don't blame them for, because of course you're watching a movie for the storyline to get a fun experience out of it. But I'm just saying, there's a lot more to movies, especially when you're analyzing them, where you don't have to just fucking focus on the story. One very big part about the movies is the way that they're actually made, you know? And if maybe, I don't know, Star Wars. What the fuck? If Star Wars were completely made very differently, maybe if, I don't know, the audio quality was shit, maybe if the cameras were a lot worse, maybe if audio recording, sound recording, maybe some of the character designs, shit like that. What if it was just completely different? Imagine how much of a different movie it would be. Imagine how different the merchandise would look. Imagine how differently all this sort of shit would be going on. Set design too. Imagine how crazy the set design would look, or how practical a lot of stuff is. The effects going on in it. And imagine if fucking, I don't know, they use actual fucking explosions in space rather than flashes on the opening of the fucking the first Star Wars movie, rather than just blasting lasers everywhere. What if, I don't know, in Star Wars they use a lot of crazier special effects? Maybe what if they did something completely different? Imagine how different it would be. And I'm just saying, I feel like that should be addressed when people are trying to analyze or critique movies, because it's just people always doing that. And so I'm just gonna end the video here. Moral of the story: if you want to review or analyze a movie, don't just focus on the story and the characters. Focus on the actual techniques used to make the movie and a lot of that sort of stuff. But don't get to the point where you're being very nitpicky about it, because you're just gonna sound like some annoying asshole who's just searching for a bunch of shit to make fun of and whine about. And yeah, that's basically all I have to say. This video recording got done a lot quicker than I thought it would, but that's because I'm in a pretty good mood. Right before this, I was jamming out to Lil B and playing some fucking Call of Duty, and I did way too good in this one game where I dropped fucking 26 fucking kills. Best shit in the game! And I went fucking crazy, dude. Thank you, Based God. So yeah, and also I'm playing Half-Life 2 in this video. This is some shit that I got a while ago, gameplay-wise. I don't know. I've had this in the fucking backlog for ages, man. I recorded this on my second Steam account, which has Half-Life 2 on it. It's my more personal Steam account, as opposed to the one I use mainly on the internet, because it's different. Online friends versus real-life friends, you know. I don't want to get that shit mixed up. So yeah. I'm gonna end the video here. Hope you have a great day, and I'm recording this at fucking 12:39 a.m. as I speak right now. And I'm gonna wait until maybe 10 a.m. tomorrow to drop it. Last video did absolutely ass view-wise, which is how I predicted it, but I don't really mind too much anymore. I had a great time recording this video, and if it gets a lot of views or if it gets no views, I don't really mind anymore. And I've learned to not care about that shit because I put no effort into my videos. Anyway, this has been Sammy Whammy. Peace.